know? Do you know? Do you have a sound record?
Yes.
Do you have a sound record? Can you produce a sound record? No, you can't.
Hey, yo.
Wait, no, let him finish.
Can I finish?
Let him finish.
Can I
That's what you do. Let him
I
finish.
just gotta see the rest of the list because he kind of punching. I'm not gonna lie.
Scissor me, daddy.
Go ahead, bro.
This is what I was talking about. I don't care because it's my list. I don't care.
Let's go. We're here. Go. Yeah, you're chatting. Thank you. Welcome back.
Because you're a mark, and the people you employ are marks, and the people you listen to are marks.
Yet. This is like y'all telling
Cody
me
is one of the founders of WWE's competition. That's a big. He's a big deal.
Competition don't have nothing to do with them. I'm talking about him. I'm talking about WWE right now.
No,
I'm not talking
yes,
about
it does.
AEW.
Yes,
AEW
it
is different.
does.
He created the company
The
basically.
competition of AEW changed how WWE operates right now. They wouldn't be doing this good if they didn't have competition, and Cody did change that.
I think that's a moot point. That's a moot point. That's a moot point because before AEW was around, WWE was very successful. So that's a moot point.
Nah.
What do you mean,
they were not on the same
Oh
stage
my
that they are
God,
now.
How they are
Sorry,
now.
we're not
Wait,
doing that.
yo, can the rest of y'all please talk, bro?
It ain't even the
Can
same.
y'all hear them? So now
It's not
WWE
even the
was
same, bro. It's not. Trust me.
So now WWE is not successful.
Yes,
It wasn't
it's
successful
successful.
before AEW. Like, what are we
Yes,
talking
it
about?
was successful, but
I've
they
never
weren't
been
trying.
extremely
successful
before.
They were splashing Roman with dog food before AEW.
Exactly.
That
That's
isn't, bro. Them doing that, y'all are saying stuff that don't matter. They was doing whatever with dog food. Who cares? That's also COVID happened. What does that have to do? What does that have to do with the success of
What
the
do you
company?
mean? Who cares?
Because what does that have to do, bro? I feel like y'all acting dumb on purpose. What does that
No,
have
I'm
to
not,
do?
bro. We can
What does that
circle
have
back.
to
We
do?
can circle back.
Bro, what do you mean?
What does that have to do? What does them rubbing dog food on Roman's face have to do with the success of WWE? Y'all are trying to tell me that AEW made. Y'all are trying to tell me that y'all basically telling me that AEW made WWE. Which don't make sense.
Financially, they were successful.
Talking
The quality of their product was bad. They increased the actual level.
And what is, bro? What is that, bro? I feel like I have to break this down, y'all. Number one, you're talking about a certain time. What does that have to do with AEW?
Because they would still be giving you bullshit if AEW wasn't here. Cody,
bro, I'm gonna tell you, you're
fact.
wrong. You're wrong. They would be doing what they're gonna do. That's what WWE does. I feel like your point goes with AEW because they're the new business. What are you talking about?
No, it doesn't. They
Explain
even
to me how then. Explain to me how.
Like, even with the people they sign is a lot of them is to keep them away from AEW or to.
You're speaking from opinion. You're not speaking from actual what we
I can
saw.
give you a
At the end of
fact.
the day, there's no argument, bro. There's no argument that y'all can tell me. WWE was very successful before AEW.
I know it was.
Even after AEW, you can't tell me that AEW made WWE's product better because there's no evidence of that. It's not like somebody's helping over there. Doesn't even make sense. You're just assuming that. You're using that because there's another brand. You didn't say that about TNA.
I helped out for sure.
Wasn't TNA around?
I think this is just us adding pieces together.
Let me disprove your point. Was TNA around?
Yeah, TNA was never considered competition.
TNA is a competitor. So how did they make?
No, it's not. It's not compared. Don't have TV deal. They'd have a TV deal for years,
bro. AEW and AEW's TV ratings compared to WWE gets almost triple the ratings. So what does that have to do?
Now, yes.
Y'all are telling, bro. It would be one thing if y'all was saying. It would be one thing if y'all was saying that AEW, being around helps the competition, in terms of what people for the fans. But you're talking, bro. I'm telling y'all for a 1,000,000% fact. AEW being around didn't make WWE's product better because look at what we just saw yesterday. Look at what we just saw yesterday.
Yeah, have you seen what they've done with NXT?
That shit dropped off.
NXT was around before AEW.
That's the only reason.
What I'm saying is
NXT was around before AEW, so that's another point. That's not true.
Against AEW on purpose. They try to raise their competition to not match it, but they want to compete against them because
There's competition. There's competition. That doesn't mean that AEW made WWE better. Because look at what just happened yesterday. What happened yesterday then? How come they didn't make them better yesterday?
So I can give you a
No,
prime
no,
example.
no, don't try to switch. I'm just asking that question.
I'm not switching anything up. I'm alluding to what you're asking.
Hold on. If that's true, before you go, Cash, my fault. Dev, if that's true, then why are we all talking about the show about WrestleMania the way we did yesterday? I mean, why are we talking about WrestleMania yesterday and Saturday, I guess, the way we are? If AEW is making them better.
Because I think going back to the Legends point, Triple H was in his honeymoon phase, right? He was he had a good run. He did have his few good programs, but then he got greedy with all these endorsements and whatnot, and he stopped trying.
And that has to do with AEW? Or did he just stop trying?
I think he stopped trying.
Exactly. That doesn't have anything to do with AEW. That's my only point. Just like this, for another example. The AEW didn't come up with the Bloodline story. That's what carried Triple H right now. That's what carried. It just ended.
But that shit happened at the same time as...
Bro, J-Man, stop it, bro.
Same time.
The same time, 1980, 1620, it don't matter what time it happened because AEW didn't write it. AEW didn't write it. We can't say that somebody helped somebody else get better. I can't say that Drake made Kendrick Lamar get better in a rap battle. No, Kendrick Lamar had that talent and it came out. That has nothing to do with Drake. That has to do with his talent. WWE is their own business and they're the more successful business. They was already around. AEW just added competition in terms of the fans. You add a different audience.
About in 2019, it was trash though. If we talking about
bro, because it was COVID, nobody could go outside. I remember nobody could go outside.
That shit was trash.
Okay, and it would have been trash for anybody. Nobody could go outside.
Nah, I'm talking like 20.
That has nothing to do with AEW. Nobody could go outside.
I'm saying though, it's a clear difference.
There's a clear difference. See, what y'all are not saying right now, and y'all gonna say y'all gonna call me a Romanite, but y'all don't like it when people keep it tall. What y'all are not saying is that no, what happened was right now we're experiencing a decline because of the I don't even care at this point. Y'all are realizing a decline because of the champ that we got. When the other champ was there, let me finish. When the other champ was there, I'm gonna make the points connect.
He's still there.
When the other champ was there, the champ though, you forgetting that part. He's not the champ right now. And look what just happened. The person that had the best match of the night was on night one. That was the last match. But we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later though.
I mean, he had the bro.
I'm glad he didn't this topic.
We're gonna get to that in a second. He had John Cena. I don't want to hear that. I ain't gonna lie.
He had John Cena. That's the only reason,
bro.
We're not going to sit like Roman had classics during those 4 years.
Exactly.
Roman, he didn't.
Roman. All right, man. Whatever. He didn't have no classics. Okay, cool.
I'm saying like that.
That Daniel Bryan versus Edge fiasco wasn't powerful like that.
All right, whatever. I'm not gonna argue about that. That's what you believe. That's fine. But at the end of the day, though, what we do know, see, I like to say facts. What we do know for sure is that one of these people had the belt for 4 years, and I'm not saying Cody needs to have the belt for 4 years.
But bro,
don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that when y'all are talking about how AEW made WWE better, no, the Bloodline story made WWE better. Y'all don't want to say that because that's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact, right? We can all agree on that, right?
Two things can be right.
Yeah,
that isn't. But AEW ain't write that story. They could have this story that we just seen.
The story. So here's what we're forgetting: revisionist history. Back during the Attitude Era, what made WWE change up how they shot stuff to make their stuff better? What WCW was doing at the time.
Competition. Exactly.
Competition will make you step your game up and step your writing process.
Y'all are basically telling me. That's what happened. Y'all are basically telling me that the NBA is better because there's a Big Three league now. That's what y'all are basically trying to tell me.
That's a terrible comparison, bro.
No, it's not a terrible. I hate my comparison. Right. That's what y'all are telling me. The Big Three is a new league. The big three is
not
the
the
new league,
that's a
and the
terrible
NBA
That's
has
not what
been
we're telling
established.
you,
That's
bro.
a
You
bad
sat
one
there.
right there.
No.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, you bugging.
So then tell me how it's a bad example.
because it's not the same shit.
So tell me
It's
how.
not at
No,
all.
don't. You see how they just repeat themselves? Tell me how it's not the same.
Because it's basketball doesn't put it in the same category.
We're not talking about basketball. It's not in the same category.
It's big screen. It's the big one, not basketball.
So
You're trying to compare the big three to the NBA.
You're not telling me how it's not very similar. The big three is a new
Basketball
league.
isn't
The big three is a new league. I'm
Because at
gonna
one point,
break down all the similarities. I'm gonna break down all the
answering.
similarities. You tell me how I'm wrong. You tell me where I'm wrong at.
Okay, go ahead.
Big three is a new league, right?
Yes,
NBA has been around, right?
hundreds of years, 100
Cool.
plus years.
So
yes.
that's the similarity. And the NBA has legends that are far and gone, right?
Yeah.
So does WWE, right?
Yeah.
AEW don't, right?
Oh.
They have. Wait.
AEW does not have no legends that's far and gone. Not
That's
really. Like
No, we
talking
not-
about people
that-
bro, the company
that
just
we
started
not-
5 years ago. We're talking about people that was legends other places. Like, stop, man.
Okay.
Yeah, competition.
Right?
Yeah, competition. Exactly, competition. That's what happens.
That's nothing to do with competition.
Here's why I got you.
I'm talking about legends in one place and legends where there's not in the other place yet. That has nothing to do with competition, actually. So, all right, that's another similarity. Y'all tell me y'all were telling me this is a bad comparison. We 2 for 2 right now.
I'm gonna tell you why it's a bad comparison, but go ahead.
I already asked you to tell me why. You ain't tell me.
Why you cut me off? I was going to tell you.
All right,
my
fault. Go ahead.
Here's why it's a bad comparison. Because at one point, AEW was actually beating NXT and WWE in ratings. Same way WCW was beating WWE in ratings during the Monday Night Wars. It's not the same things because it's a new league, bro. Like, we're not going to sit here and act like that big three comparison is the same as AEW compared to WWE. WWE does their best work when they actually have active competition competing with them in ratings.
Okay.
When they don't have anything competing against them, like when they bought WCW out and ECW went out of business, it was terrible.
Exactly. Like, fighting now is terrible.
Okay. So
I'll give you another example.
Okay, go ahead.
You know how AEW partnered with CMLL, Mexican League, right?
That's cool, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's AEW? What's WCW or WWE do? They buy AAA to compete with them.
Okay.
There's still competition.
Did we see that? that has nothing to do. You're talking about monopolizing. You're not talking about making somebody better. That's what the difference is between.
AEW didn't exist. What are we talking about? They wouldn't have this forbidden door policy that AEW started.
That's cool. And if they didn't have it, WWE would still be around, right?
It will be around.
If AEW didn't have it, they might not be around. That's when we're not talking.
As good.
Huh?
It wouldn't be as good of a product.
You can't say it wouldn't be as good because it existed way before AEW was there and the Attitude Era happened.
There's also things WWE does specifically to counter AEW.
Okay, so when was the best era of WWE?
Monday Night Wars.
Okay, what year was that?
Attitude Era was like what? 98,
exactly.
It's like 2002.
Okay, when did AEW start?
6 years ago.
2019.
Okay, so if the best era was way before,
they had WCW.
It's simple math. Bro, you see how it's simple math, bro. If the best era of one period or a period was way before another company, how was the other company making this company better?
Because they had WCW. That's why.
No. What do you mean? Because they had.
You're literally proving our point, bro.
You're just saying anything, Ben. I can't hold.
No, we're not saying anything. We're proving facts, bro.
You're saying because they had WCW.
You just proved our point, this, bro. Like
you just proved our point, Trav. Like,
not just making this up.
Like, you literally just proved our point. That's crazy.
When did WCW end?
2001, 2002.
When was the Attitude Era?
98, 2002, 2003.
97 to 2000.
Actually, 97.
But you know what's crazy? Y'all just said how this is how I be getting y'all.
You didn't get anything.
You didn't get
Go ahead.
Wait, I just want
because they had competition. That's the only reason that was powerful.
Wait, Craig, get this right here, because I want y'all to go back right before I'm saying the statement right here. Y'all were just telling me how WCW ending things made worse. Now y'all are telling me that was the best time. So which one is it?
The best time was when there was competition. That's what we saying.
Right.
Y'all just said something about WCW ending, and that was one of the worst periods because of the
we're talking about
WCW
competition.
While
That
they
was
were
one of the
around,
best.
it
The
was
competition.
active competition. That was
exactly.
the best bruh.
Yo.
I see what you're trying to do right now.
I'm not trying to do anything. I just think that I'm right now. I think I'm arguing with three people who happen to agree with each other, but I think all three of y'all are obviously wrong.
Obviously,
anything in like
Y'all are telling me that AEW is
It
making
was good,
WWE better. WWE
there is a
My
whole
bad,
thing
my
on
bad.
Peacock about the Monday Night Wars, bro. Like, how are you arguing with us?
Bro, you know what would make sense? You know what y'all saying? It would make sense that WWE made AEW better. That would make sense. Y'all can't tell me that a company is making another company when half their superstars came from that company. What are you talking about?
Exactly. It's competition. Exactly. That's
What do
the
you mean
reason
exactly? That just disproved everything that you said, J. Man. I don't think you peeped.
It's competition. That's all I'm trying to say. It's competition.
That's
if you got competition, you're gonna.
But wait, y'all are changing the argument. Of course, it's competition. I've been said that.
Oh, you changed the argument by making it so WCW wasn't a thing, man.
Better. Y'all just told me that it's not about competition. I agree with the competition. I also agree. I said that. Y'all told me that AEW is making WWE better, which is clearly wrong because number one, one of the main reasons that we got in here was to punch on them. So how is AEW making them better, but then we're going to exclude night 2 and night 1? How are we going to exclude that? If y'all are telling me that The Rock coming around doing all this stuff, ruin stuff and blah, 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 how is AEW making WWE better? That don't even make sense logically, which I just said. That's what I'm trying to point out to y'all. Yes,
it
there's
was
competition.
making them better.
Huh?
It was making them better.
So then what happened? How do we just pick and choose? No, that's the problem. You don't
pick and choose. Competition, bro. It's not being competition.
You cannot pick and choose when you're saying that a company.
It stopped being competition. That's what happened.
How did it stop? So J Benz, go further and explain that to me.
It's ass.
What?
So nobody.
What stopped being competition? This is how I'm about to get you. You setting yourself up.
How I'm setting myself up?
Just go ahead and continue.
The competition started to get terrible, so they started to get kind of ass. So yeah,
who started getting ass?
AEW. If both have been real, like this WrestleMania was underwhelming.
So y'all are telling me because AEW got worse, WWE got worse. Can y'all understand how this don't make no sense?
Because somebody else if you're not working,
to them, bro.
Why do you have to try so hard?
Exactly.
What happened?
If one promotion's not doing so good, why I gotta try so hard to be better when they're already
the company cash. Hold on, I hope everybody else don't hear this. The only people that are trying too hard is AEW. What are you talking about? That's the company that's really trying too hard. They just had a bro. This is like
I'm not arguing with you.
A horrible argument.
No, it's a horrible argument. It's an argument that you are continuing to have when we're trying to prove a point you don't listen to.
Now I'm continuing it. It's three of y'all talking to me, but I'm continuing the argument.
Yes,
y'all just be saying dumb shit.
It's three y'all about you. Okay,
but I'm continuing the conversation, of course, because I gotta respond to y'all, right? What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Now it's dumb because you don't agree with me. That's crazy. All right, got you.
I don't even know what you just said, Cash. And I feel like the second half of what I just heard you say didn't even make sense. It's three of y'all talking, and you're telling me I'll continue with the argument.
And we're telling you facts that can be looked up and documented that's out there.
So
and you're still debating us on it.
Wait, what's documented?
The fact that the Night Wars is what made WWE better, and that had a lot to do with WCW.
We're not talking about WCW. You're talking about AEW.
Right, and revision. Yeah, right. We're talking about with AEW. When they first came out, they were getting numbers. They even went ahead and tried to put them on the same night as NXT.
When they first came out, how does that mean that they're making WWE better?
It made them better. Now, does it
For a
apply
while,
now?
it
No,
did.
because
that doesn't
AEW is
you're
ass.
not telling me how it made WWE better because AEW
Because
rated
of
ass.
Because you now have another
competition.
TV, another program on TV.
Do y'all
that
understand how
people usually have.
competition works? You know competition is you want to kill the competition, right?
Exactly.
We
And they
know
So how is
WWE is
AEW doing
bigger.
that's
better to
exactly
make
what they did.
WWE better? What are y'all talking
They
That's
about?
what
killed
they
the
did,
competition.
man.
That's exactly what happened. They killed the competition.
Who killed who? Who killed who?
WWE killed AEW.
I asked.
Exactly. They killed AEW. Oh,
Now they killed. So they killed. So y'all listen. Y'all wish there was like other people listen. How is that? How is that even true? How is what y'all? How is what y'all?
I
Get the
wasn't.
question out. Go ahead. Don't
Let me
worry, I'll
say this.
wait.
Let me say
I
this.
wasn't
No.
saying
Let me say this.
anything.
Let me say this. Let me say this. What y'all are saying can't be true factually because you cannot pick and choose when you're saying that a company is helping. Oh, so this year
We're
they helped
not
them, and then
picking
this.
and
no,
Yes,
choosing.
y'all are. Can I, bro?
it's
Yo,
true because
I
at
want. I want to
first
finish. I want to finish my statement
shit
real
was.
quick. I just want to finish real quick
Let
I was
Finish
because
nothing,
at
I'm
man.
first
already talking to three
like,
of y'all. I'm already talking to three. I got to argue three different things,
all
bro. Bro, the big three has competed with the
right, big,
NBA, and depending on what day
yo,
there's
that's
an
a
event.
terrible comparison, though. That's
How is
all
it a
I'm.
terrible comparison,
It's not the same. It's not the same at
And the
all.
big three doesn't even take place the same time as NBA happens in the off season.
bro?
That shit don't
That
work,
doesn't
bro.
that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they don't come on ESPN and still get ratings. What are you talking about?
That
It
shit don't
doesn't
work,
come
bro.
on
That
the
shit
same
don't.
time
Work.
as
But
the
it's not the same time that
NBA season. What are we
happens.
Even
talking
if
That
about?
shit
It's
don't.
hey
not
That
the
hey
shit
same
don't
Quiz
work,
hey
program.
bro.
Quiz, this is
That
my
one
thing.
time.
Even if it's
That
not
shit
on
don't
at the
work,
same
bro.
time, that still doesn't make
So
AEW
it's
make
not
W.
competition.
It's not
But
even the time, Trav. They not
bro,
even in the same
all
season,
right,
man. Like as
cool.
soon as
Forget about
NBA is over, that's when the other ones start. Like
It's not.
they
That's a terrible.
Just
That
like
shit
the
don't work, bro.
UFL isn't competition to the NFL because it happens in the off season.
so
It
so
don't work.
so 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 here let's put it this way. Anything that happens just because it happens at the same time doesn't mean it makes the other thing better. That's not what that means.
Huh?
There's no proof behind that. There's no justification behind that. There's no fact behind it.
So
Y'all
if
are
we
just
get you
speaking.
ratings, you're gonna tell me that that's not real.
If I tell you what's not real,
If I
Trav.
provide ratings, that's
you're
not
talking
real.
about ratings, bro. You're first of all, I already looked up what you're talking about. You're talking about them competing with NXT. They had ratings a few times that got a little close to Raw, but they never trumped the WWE main roster. So stop it. That's
Yeah,
one.
but it's competition though.
That's bro. You keep saying that's competition. I don't care about that. That has nothing to do with who's making somebody better.
Isn't that what we're arguing though?
We
Nah,
wasn't
Trav.
arguing competition. We was
Trav.
arguing. This is what I mean. We wasn't arguing competition because I said for like the 16th time now that I agree that of course they're a competitor. That doesn't mean that they're making WWE better.
It for
Y'all are
sure
sitting here
is.
trying to
They're
make it,
helping
and
out
then
though. It's for sure
y'all
helping.
said AEW is the reason why WWE was doing better. That doesn't make any sense because how? So then, if that's true, then what happened just yesterday? The bloodline story. What does AEW have to do with that? That's the reason why WWE started turning up again.
When we say
Yeah,
Y'all are
better,
saying
we
stuff
don't
that's
mean
not true.
impacting Trav. When we say better, we're not talking about impacting storylines or character development. That's not what that means, man.
So what does better mean? Like, what are you talking about? Now you're saying it's
What
not.
that
Now you're
means is
saying
no, let me
better.
okay, let me answer. Let me answer. You
Go
asked
ahead.
me a question and answer. What we mean by better is that okay, we see what's going on that side of the field, on their programming. Okay, cool. What can we write that's currently better than this?
If you think that they're doing that, then you're highly mistaken and you're completely wrong. If you think that
Oh, so
the
now
creative
I'm wrong.
this is you're 1,000,000% wrong. 1,000,000%. Two million.
So you're a writer. You work for WWE. You're a
Bro,
writer, right?
go look at all the writers. You think that they looking at AEW and saying, "Oh, they just did this with MJF over there, so let's do this over here." What are you talking about?
Yes.
No, they're
Yes,
not.
absolutely.
So then
They
you
both do.
that
It's
doesn't
back
even
and
make no
forth.
sense, bro. Like this is what I'm talking about. What about arguing right now? That doesn't even make sense.
Punk, man, like they open their eyes though. Like when AEW side Punk, like that made WWE look like okay, I see what y'all doing. I ain't gonna say they totally discarded like
Yeah, like that's all I'm
side
saying.
Punk,
It's
like
competition.
That's not all you was.
they
That's not
definitely
all
looked
you was
at
saying. Lucci
It's
saying something
competition,
totally
bro.
different than what y'all was saying.
Bro,
I hate when y'all do
competition,
that.
Oh,
bro.
I
because
hate when y'all
Lucci
do
said it,
At
that.
the
now
end
you're
of the
wanting to
day,
listen. Okay, that's crazy.
you
What
got
do you mean?
competition.
He didn't,
One,
bro. Everybody listening. Lucci and them, y'all just said two totally different things.
How?
I'm gonna tell you how, because y'all always doing this, and this is why I get y'all again. He just said he said it made, when they signed Punk, it made them open up it made WWE open up their eyes. If y'all would have said that, I would agree with y'all, because that's CM Punk.
Bro, but it's a
But
brand
you can't
new
say that AEW made
company,
WWE
bro.
better
It's
when
a
they've been
brand new
around.
company.
Bro,
so
stop
of
it.
course that shit gonna say like,
Hey,
oh
look,
yeah,
Luke, let me ask you a question, bro. Because you've been watching wrestling for years, right?
Yeah.
So you remember the Monday Night Wars, right?
Oh,
Right.
No, Trav. This is me and Lucy talking right now. So you remember WCW was winning the Monday Night Wars, right?
Yep. 80-some weeks in a row, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Like 83
Yeah,
weeks.
over
yep,
over a
83
year,
weeks.
year and a half. Right.
83
And
weeks.
WWE saw what they were doing and decided, you know what? What the current product that we have isn't cutting it. We need to rewrite this shit.
That's a
Right?
fact. That's a fact.
Okay.
Yeah,
When
they definitely.
AEW first came out, oh, okay, they got these superstars doing this, and this. What are we doing right now? Okay. Oh, they're getting ratings right now. Okay. Let's change our product a bit. Does that sound crazy to you, Lucy?
No, that doesn't sound crazy.
It sounds true. It sounds true.
Lucci, all right, here we go. Lucci, let me ask you a
True. That's
question.
what it sounds like.
Let me ask you a question, Lucci. Did AEW make WWE a better product?
I think in some cases they did, because the impact that they had when they first came out, like it was, it was a new wrestling. And then it's, the Chicago. Hold up, Rush. Then there was people that was, I mean, me personally, I stopped watching WWE for a couple of weeks when the AEW came out, and I'm a hardcore wrestling fan. But I
Right.
was seeing shit. The shit wasn't predictable, and it wasn't scripted like what I was normalized to see. So yeah, I think they did. I think they did make them better though, Trav. Like, I ain't gonna say it was like in the same boat as what WCW and WWE was, but yeah, you gotta take a look at what's going on over there.
I just don't. My thing is, y'all aren't giving me any proof of anything that made them, that put AEW, I don't want to say in the spotlight, that we could definitively say they made the product for WWE better. Everything that y'all are saying is what made them a competitor. Y'all are not telling me how what they did made WWE better. That's where y'all conflating arguments.
How do y'all feel about Penta
I got this stuff with that.
race mix? Because if it wasn't for AEW, WWE wouldn't give Penta the time of day. They would have never signed.
That has nothing, bro. And if it wasn't, see, this is what I mean. You're talking about Penta. If it wasn't for WWE, there would be no AEW, period. So,
Okay, I'll give you an example.
so
Okay,
what are we talking about? You're
I'll
talking
give you
about one wrestler, and we're talking about a whole
Nobody's
company
trying to
wouldn't be
argue
there.
that though. I ain't trying to argue that.
All right, so
But I'm
Trav,
saying, so how
I'll
can
give
one
you.
make one better if without me you couldn't even
I
be
ain't
there
trying
at
to
all?
argue that though, Trav.
Trav. I'll give you a tangible example. You remember when AEW first started, how MJF was doing his promos and stuff? How it was they can take little subtle jabs at WWE and whatnot, and then WWE will see what MJF is doing, and then actually bring him up on their programming.
Right. Go ahead.
Like Edge calling. Wait, was it Edge? Somebody had called like MJF a less talented mid. No, that was CM Punk. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, CM Punk calling MJF a less talented Miz, and then a week later they somehow bring up MJF kind of like in a joking way and whatnot. So we can't sit here and say it's impossible that one isn't influencing the other, and like they're just not sitting there watching what each other do and then try to write little shit to like make themselves better. The problem is that that AEW fell off to a point where now WWE doesn't have to look at them as competition and go back to regularly scheduled bullshit, which is what we got at WrestleMania.
I just think that's way more opinion based than the facts that we've seen. The facts that we've seen,
It's true though.
the facts that we've seen
It's true
is
though.
that the facts that we've seen is that number one, the new generational megastar was Roman Reigns, and he carried the company for 4 years with the belt. That wasn't because of AEW. That's one. That's one thing. Two, Vince McMahon was there before, and he's no longer there now.
Man,
That's nothing to do with AEW. There goes two. So when y'all are saying that the product, when y'all are saying that that another company made a company better, this is how y'all talk about Cody with the John Cena thing. It's kind of funny how these things kind of connect because just like their careers are way different. So certain things we can compare, and certain things was way different.
Who compared their
Y'all
careers to the same?
y'all are excluding a lot of really important things to just make it look like AEW made WWE better. And no.
But I have a question.
Go ahead.
How can you say they didn't make them better? They pulled a guy, one of the guys that built the promotion, to dethrone their top guy. They relied on the
That has nothing to do. That has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with
They
anything.
relied on the face of AEW to put down their guy, not any of their guys, not a homegrown dude.
They didn't rely. They didn't rely. Hold on.
Yes, they did.
Hold on.
Now
y'all about to tell me. Now y'all about to tell me. Just think about.
Why didn't they drop it to Drew McIntyre or Seth
Powerful
Rollins or
from
The
the
Rock?
start.
Yo, hold on. He just asked me a question, and now can I just respond?
I'm saying nothing, by the way. I'm letting y'all talk.
It's all good. I just want to respond. This is what I mean. I got to punch with three of y'all, and all these. It's cool. Let me address what he just
I'm
said.
giving you space.
Go ahead.
Oh man. Can I go?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey man.
All right. He asked me how, right? Number one. See, y'all asked me stuff that made me look like a hater, but I like keeping it very honest. Y'all are telling me that WWE relied on Cody. That's not true. It's not true. How did they rely on him if the other person was the champ for 4 years? This is what I'm talking about.
I'm saying they had nobody else to drop it to. They didn't have. Why couldn't they drop it to anybody else?
Bro, what do you mean? Why couldn't they? They could have. They just didn't.
They wouldn't have. There was nobody. There was nobody.
That's not true. Drew McIntyre was there. Seth Rollins was there. Stop
They
it.
wouldn't. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been screwed.
What do you
They
mean?
were about to drop it. No, because Vince wanted to drop it to Brock Lesnar.
Guess what? None of that. All of you, Dev. I don't mean this. No disrespect.
Right.
That's all cool. Unfortunately, it don't matter. You know why? Because you saying what they could have done, but they didn't do it. That's cool.
They didn't believe in anybody else.
That doesn't mean that they was waiting for 4 years. They wasn't waiting for 4 years saying, in 4 years, Cody's going to come dethrone him. That wasn't happening. No, they just had, Roman was running stuff and the ratings went crazy through the roof with the bloodline story. So they kept him with the title. That's it. Yo.
So, okay, so they grabbed up Cody from the bro. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They competition. So they grabbed up him, and he was powerful from the start. So like, you can't say that they not competent. Like, you can't say that.
Wasn't Cody in WWE before AEW?
Yeah, bro, I'm just asking a simple question.
He was in WWE first. What are we talking about?
Like he wasn't really that powerful though.
That doesn't matter though. He was still in one place before. So how did the other place make
him
WWE better if he was in WWE first?
He wasn't carrying a company when he was in WWE.
Exactly.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't. Him carrying his own brand. He didn't even win. Come on, bro. He didn't win the belt there. He didn't have the belt there. So what are we talking about carrying the company? He didn't have to. He did not have the belt. He wasn't carrying nothing. He was just the person that opened. He was the person that helped open up the brand. He wasn't carrying the brand because he never won the belt. The way y'all are telling me this, all y'all points be so contradicting, bro. Because in this
brand, I don't mean that,
bro. Y'all are telling me that first of all, this is the crazy part too. You're telling me he asked me how WWE didn't get better because Cody Rhodes basically was the reason why they got better because they had to rely on Cody Rhodes. He was in AEW. That's basically what he said.
That's not what we're trying to say, though.
What do you mean that's not true? J Vance, hold on one second. That's what
not
Dev
what
just
we're
said.
trying
You
to
see,
say.
he didn't say nothing. Wait, hold on. You stop for a second. Dev just said that. He just said that. Dev, tell me if I'm wrong. What? How I just repeated what you said. He just said that.
I asked you, how can AEW not be making WWE better when they pulled one of the faces of AEW from them to dethrone their top guy instead of a Seth Rollins or a Drew McIntyre or a Brock Lesnar? They did rely on Cody.
They didn't rely on Cody, bro. They didn't. I can't say that. This is my problem with that. You're speaking from.
If it wasn't for Cody, they would have spent another 3 years trying to build Seth or Drew again. After
They would have they would have had somebody. There's always the next person up, just like how there was yesterday. There's always the next person up. You said, but who?
Yeah. Who?
Bro, you're gonna. That's.
Let me know.
I hope you're asking me an easy question. Before I answer, I hope you're asking me. You're asking me an easy question.
So tell me who.
I'm gonna name every single person that Roman Reigns faced the year that Cody lost. LA Knight, a Jey Uso, a Braun. He didn't face Braun Breaker, but we could say a Braun Breaker. We could say a Sami Zayn. There's so many people that a Drew, with Seth. What are you talking about? Who? You're acting like Cody's the only person on earth that can win the belt. What are you talking about?
But that's the thing.
Now Cody's the only person that can win the belt. What are you talking about? Of course, they would have found somebody else, just like they always do. This is why I say that one company is not making the other company better. I would say
they grabbed up a top guy from that company,
and that top guy they grabbed from WWE.
Not really.
He came from there. That they wouldn't know who he is unless he was in WWE. This is what I'm trying to. This is why I don't get what y'all are saying. One company would not be. This is what. Can we agree on this? One company would not be there if it wasn't for people that came from WWE, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so how are y'all telling me that the other company that's
I'm only saying that I'm only disagreeing because they grabbed the American Nightmare. He was still Stardust when he left WWE.
Exactly. The American Nightmare. The man behind the mask was still the man behind the mask, though, and he was in WWE before. That's what it is.
But
I get what y'all are saying. He raised the prestige because of what he did for AEW. He raised the prestige. But y'all are acting like WWE is about to close down if Cody didn't come to WWE. They're gonna find somebody else.
Who said that though?
That's what I'm saying. You can't say that they relied on him. If they didn't sign him, guess what? They would have moved on. They would have moved on
Trav,
like they do with everybody.
I got a yes or no question. I'm done with this argument.
Right? Hold on. Right or wrong. If they didn't get Cody to win the belt, they would have found somebody else, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They would have
to.
Yo, Cash, stop it, bro. This is what I'll be talking about. It's like,
who would it have been, though?
Baby. Like, they're about to close down. Like, it's like Six Flags.
No, we're not saying to close down. I'm saying, like, but who would the person have been, though? Anybody you name would have been like, okay, maybe, possibly.
They would have been. The point is that WWE would have been fine. AEW wouldn't have been fine if all the things that surrounded WWE didn't start.
I wasn't implying that WWE would ever be bad without Cody, but he elevated it. He did elevate it,
bro. But there had to be someone. There had to be someone there to elevate it for him to elevate it. And without that person, this is what I'm saying. Without
company though, it was an entire thing. It wasn't.
It's like a parasite. The parasite can be the parasite. It can't do it without the host. There's a host and there's a parasite. The AEW is the parasite and WWE is the host. That's what it is. Y'all are telling me that one made them something better or whatever the case may be. That's not true. If anything, AEW hurts the brand of WWE. That goes to your point from earlier. Oh, the ratings got close. You know why the ratings got close? Because they hurt WWE. It's like sticking a knife into somebody's back. That's what they did. But because AEW got worse,
in competition.
Bro, but that doesn't mean that is what I just said completely is the opposite of making somebody better. WWE made AEW better. AEW made WWE. Look at what y'all just said. Y'all just said a couple minutes ago that WWE got worse.
I didn't say that.
Somebody said it, right?
I said it.
Okay. So then how is it possible that the company that made them worse made them better?
Because
they made
they're not
you were talking about ratings.
Because they're not competition. That's why
they're no longer considered competition anymore.
So now we're picking and choosing. This is how I got y'all. This is what I mean. Now if they was competition,
the numbers are there.
If this is a brand of wrestling and they was competition 6 years ago, in some way, fashion, or form, it's still competition now. They just got worse.
Not really though.
That's not entirely true, man. If the ratings show
true. Let me give y'all another example. Y'all gonna like this one. When you run for president or senator or governor or whatever, you have Democrats and Republicans, right?
Yeah.
And then you have independents, right? I'm like, hello?
Yeah.
Okay, the independents still competition to the Republicans and the Democrats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But usually they don't stand a chance, right?
Usually.
That's the same thing with AEW and WWE. There's one that's the Democrats or the Republicans, or you can say both, and then there's the independents, which is AEW.
That's what it is. It's not really though, but I get what you're saying though.
That's what it is.
That's a better analogy, but from
that brand wasn't independent brand that was open. So that literally is more so to the point. Yes, it is true. That's why one doesn't necessarily make one better. One may be competition. Sometimes the competition may be better, but the competition being better is not a focal point for WWE. That means AEW is doing better. So the competition, there's competition.
Yeah, if they're doing better, I gotta step my game up.
But you can step your game. I'm telling, you can step your game up when you're an established, basically monopoly. You can, all right, okay, cool. They could be over there. They don't care that much about what AEW is doing unless AEW
wouldn't
go
have bought
on AEW.
AAA if they didn't.
Huh?
They wouldn't have bought AAA if that was the case.
How do you know that? That's what I'm saying. You're acting like WWE has never bought anything before. That's like saying they would have. All right, they would have never. So they would have never. So they would have never did. They would have never did NXT without AEW too. They would have never did Evolve without AEW. They would have never did LFG without AEW.
Running with it. No, we're not saying that, bro. See, that's
so then you can't say it for one thing and not say it for the other.
There's proof of it.
What's the proof of what?
Because AEW did it first, technically.
Did what first? Which part?
They're now partnering with a Mexican organization. They did it first. They did the Forbidden Door stuff first. Before WWE started working with TNA, it was AEW working with TNA at one point.
Checkmate. I got you again. Ready? Bro, watch this. Y'all just said WWE got worse. So how are you also saying now that them signing a company that we still never seen them work with yet made them better? Tell me that.
Are we talking like the...
Wait, hold on, David.
We're talking about the...
Let them finish, man, because after I say this, I'm done arguing with you. Like dead ass. I don't have all day to do with
you. Okay. So
we ain't even see them partner with them yet. Y'all are acting like just because they signed a company that they just got better all of a sudden. So
we're not saying they got better, but we can't sit and act like they didn't see it and be like, we can top that. Let's do this.
Everything that you're saying is a
competition.
It's everything that you're saying.
Contradiction.
On your side, it's a contradiction. You know why?
No, it's not.
Because it's the same way that you could say that AEW bought somebody first and WWE did it after is the same way that I could say, well, whatever happened with signing wrestlers and all that stuff happened before AEW was even born. That's the only reason why AEW is around. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Give me an example.
Every single wrestler that AEW
give
was
me an
signing,
example. No, give
Cody
me
Rhodes.
a specific example you're talking about.
Cody Rhodes.
Did AEW sign Cody Rhodes from WWE? No.
Oh.
Where was Cody Rhodes at before AEW?
Cody Rhodes is independent.
What company was he at?
Ring of Honor. Silence. Yep.
I'm not being silent. I'm laughing because you're trying and you know exactly. You know the answer.
That's actually true, Trav. That's really true, Trav.
That's facts.
So do I need to give
Cody from WWE
to AEW,
to doing independence to working at ROW, Ring of Honor, to AEW.
I was wrong.
He might have worked at TNA for a little bit too.
Yeah.
TNA also.
The point here, bro, this is why I laugh. Because you just tried to act like by me saying Cody that there's not 9 million other wrestlers that AEW has signed. Because they
We
were in
know it's 9
AEW.
million.
Because they
You
were in
brought Cody up as an
WWE.
example. What are you talking about? I'm
So
using your example.
why do I have
That's
to?
the name you brought up.
So would you like me to just start naming
Give
a
me a
bunch of
different name.
wrestlers
Give me a
that
different name.
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy went from WWE to Independence to TNA to now
I don't think you even remember what I originally said. I don't think you remember what I originally said. So let me remind you. The point was the way that you're saying how WWE wouldn't have done anything, they wouldn't have started signing Mexican companies and stuff like that if AEW didn't do it first. AEW wouldn't be around at all if there wasn't a first, somebody that did it first.
Oh shit.
They wouldn't be around. So what is that? There was a birth that birthed others.
So Tony Khan wouldn't have bought.
You're talking about the
out there. Like, what are we talking about?
What happened?
What are you saying exactly?
I don't know.
We've been arguing this for like about an hour and a half, man.
I'm saying to you that you're trying to say that one company got better because
I'm not trying to say anything. I said it.
Okay, you're right. You're saying that a company got better because of AEW.
There's competition. Yes,
bro. Just because
am I the only one that sees that?
They're being competent, but I think I'm trying to tell you that first of all, AEW is so new, and it's not. Forget that point, y'all. It's wrong to say that a company made a company better, and then you don't stand by that right now. Because when something bad happens,
both things can
I think they
be
are.
true.
Hold on. This is why I'm about to. I don't want to cut y'all off.
Something bad happened.
Now
y'all are saying that WWE got worse. Before this, y'all were saying that you're basically telling me that before anything that let's say Sunday didn't happen or Saturday, well, WrestleMania didn't happen this year. AEW has made WWE better those 5-6 years.
At some point, 5-6 years. Yes, I didn't say the full 5-6 year period. No, that's not what we're saying. See, now you're taking an argument.
So that's what I was about to point out.
But that's not saying.
That's what I was about to point out. That's all I was going to say right now. Like Trav, I feel like y'all agreeing at some point because y'all really are. He said like all they getting at this point is when AEW came out, it made WWE get creatively better. That's a fact. We really cannot argue that. That is a fact. That's a fact.
Now, because
how is that a fact? Trav, that's when the product got better, brother. Did you watch the years before that?
In 2020, that's when it happened.
Like the years before that, Roman Reigns was getting dog food poured on him. I don't understand.
Bro. This is what happened. This is what it is.
And then now, hold on, let me finish. And then now that y'all saying AEW got worse, it's like WWE took their foot off the gas, and that's why we got what we got last night. That's literally what y'all all are saying.
That's how it works. Yes, exactly.
That's what y'all said. So come back to competition. That's all y'all been saying. Y'all all literally agree.
This don't make no sense, bro. I'm like seriously. Y'all gonna make me start doing mad like analytics for real. Y'all gonna make me. I will really do it because y'all are making it seem like all of a sudden. This is why it's such a. Y'all not keeping it all the way real, and I feel like
that's what happened.
Hold on, I don't do nothing but keep it real, bro. So don't do that.
Can I just say something? You feel me? Y'all are keeping it real through y'all eyes. I get it, but I'm trying to say that there's a truth that y'all aren't saying about this because I get it. Y'all was huge fans of AEW at one point. I get it, and y'all still watch some of y'all. My thing is, bro, you cannot. It's there. One is a huge business that holds thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people at events, and one is a huge business that holds hundreds and maybe a couple thousand at an event. Right? There's a difference, but there's another word that I want to use, but it's cool. It's a different type of competition that we talking about. That's number one, right? So my thing is, you can't say now that because AEW got bad, and I'm gonna show y'all how that now WWE put their foot out the gas. Y'all are looking at it that way, and I think that's 100,000,000% wrong. You know why? WWE doesn't know when AEW is about to start getting bad. They don't know when that's going to happen. So you think that there's people sitting at home watching AEW saying, "Oh, they had a bad show. Let's write a bad show. Oh, we don't have to write this good of a show." No, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how the fans are going to react in AEW. So it's unfair for y'all to sit here and say that, "Oh, AEW made them better, so they got worse." They got worse because of what they did. That has nothing to do with they got worse because of what they did, and they lost some of their main stars because they stars decided to go back to the top dog. That's what happened. You can't say that one company made one company better, because if that's true, then why would these top people leave that company? Number one. Number two, like I said, I already said it. The main thing is you don't know how the fans are going to react. Just like how we didn't know that John Cena was going to be, we didn't know that Cody Rhodes was going to get booed on Friday. The fans change every event. They change. You never know what the creative is. Not like somebody's a spy spying on AEW and spying on WWE, and they meeting in the middle at a round table like the White House and saying, "All right, they did bad, so in 2 weeks they did." Like, no, there's not that. WWE has their storylines and AEW has theirs. AEW failed at a lot of theirs, and WWE succeeded a lot. And one of the main reasons that they did is because of Roman Reigns. That's what I'm trying to say. His storyline, that yes, I get it that it was bad. Y'all brought up the dog food and everything like that. That was before the whole tribal chief thing. They didn't write the
But
bloodline
that's what they
story.
saying, Trav.
Exactly.
Nico,
That's what they
Nico,
saying,
they didn't
bro.
write the bloodline story. They didn't write the bloodline story because of AEW. The bloodline story created itself because of the people that were involved.
And because of competition. Exactly. Hey, yo, like we got competition.
That's all they're saying. They're not saying like AEW.
That doesn't even make
Yeah,
any
they're not
sense.
saying like AEW is directly responsible
Bro,
for
that
that
doesn't.
story.
What y'all are saying don't make no sense, bro. You're saying because of competition, the bloodline story developed. That doesn't make any sense.
That's not what they say, and that's why I keep butting in. That's not what they say.
Exactly trying to say that exactly. No, that's not.
Well, that's what you try to say. Then I can't agree with that. I just think they saying
that because of
I'm not
competition.
trying to. But I'm
okay,
saying,
that's what I think. Niggas is just saying when competition showed up, creative got better. That's all this comes down to. Like, it ain't about one story.
But I can
and
see.
they had to start being good.
But you saying
one thing that I think
this is my thing. No, go ahead. My fault, bro. Go ahead.
You're good. What I want to elaborate on what Nico was saying is AEW, and we can say this, right? You keep saying we can't say it, but we can, because just because they didn't make them better for 6 consecutive years, nobody can make another person better for 6 consecutive years. But there's so many things that Triple H grabbed from the competition. I think you're looking at it, it's not as black as white as you're making it out to be. And there's a gray area that a lot of these guys behind the scenes are thinking about. And these guys, they reveal it, right? You can look it up. There's so many guys, reporters, John Rothsap. There's so many guys behind the scenes that take these things into consideration, and like it changed the landscape. I think this goes back to Cody, being like, he is a generational babyface, despite him being booed. I don't think that decreased his value. I just got sidetracked. But what I'm saying, it's not as black as white as you're making it seem. There's a gray area, and they are threatened. They are the bigger company. They will always be the bigger company, but they're also an insecure company run by insecure people like Vince and Hunter. You know,
so AEW.
I know, we know. But they make each other better. You know, I'll give, like, they both should get their ones. They make each other better because they both draw from strengths and weaknesses, right? AEW is built off of people that worked in WWE. So they have the leverage, and they have certain leverages that can build their company up from what WWE used to be, right? They can draw in strengths from sports entertainment and leave out the weaknesses that their audience doesn't appeal to. But they were making WWE better because they felt threatened, right? They programmed it with NXT, and as soon as they lost the counter program, Triple H wanted to dismiss them. They wanted to go back to calling them a developmental, despite having the likes of Undertaker and John Cena and Randy Orton. They were putting big stars on there, right? But whenever they get beat, it's a developmental, right? You see how he contradicts himself, just like parts of this conversation was contradicting itself. So
well, I disagree with what you just said, because they put Undertaker and John Cena and people like that on the developmental brand to expand ratings, so we can get more views. That's what any good business would try to do. Just like when a business gets a sponsor, you feel me? Oh, we're a business, but if we get sponsored by this NFL team, it's going to add a little bit to our ratings, or whatever it is. The business.
If we're looking at that gray area again, not being black and white about it, if we're looking at that gray area, that was a big week for AEW, right? And nobody, they're not checking for Tony Khan like that, but they have phones, they have internet. They knew it was a big week. I can't remember exactly. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of digging. I'm not that in it to win the argument. 'Cause I agree with everybody, but I just know it was a big week. I think it was a big week for MJF, but I could be wrong. Somebody can fact check me. But they did that to counter. Yeah, they do it for the ratings. Obviously, John Cena's a draw. He's one of the biggest people on the planet. But they did that because...
No, you're right. The drop that we use at the end of our shows when he do the whole Tony Khan, you're a fucking mark and all that shit. That very next week, they definitely brung them niggas in for more ratings. That's a fact.
They want to wave their dick around. So they put Undertaker here. Pause, whatever. They want to wave their private parts at everybody. So they want to flex their power because they know they're the bigger company. Sometimes they want to flex on the smaller company because they know it's smaller. They're only doing that because they're threatened. If they weren't, they'd be phoning it in more often.
Another prime example, when AEW signed Punk, that very next Monday, that Raw went stupid as far as like the content, what they were doing, just to counteract that. So yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, as my man was saying, like they probably don't be looking at Tony Khan like, oh, what's going on over there and whatnot. But I definitely believe they have some writers like, okay, what they got going on over there?
Just because
we gotta do that.
WWE didn't increase, like their quality didn't increase consecutively. Everybody has days, but they did get better because of certain things AEW was doing. They did they wanted to be better than them. They are better than them financially, but they want to show it. They want to prove it. That's why the PR was so bad for Hunter this week. He is right.
No, go ahead, continue. Yeah. You said he is what?
That's why he does feel like if you were paying attention to all the bad PR that Hunter was getting, mentioning, like they just keep mentioning their names, and there's so many references. CM Punk, Seth, they always reference the other company. So does the other company, but they always do it. If the other company wasn't always on their mind, they wouldn't be, doing these subliminal messages, and it draws people in. It does, in fact, when they take those pot shots, it draws people in because people love drama. So they're adding drama because of the competition. It makes the shit in the ring get more dramatic.
Can I tell you?
Even with the build up for Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, the whole him getting slammed through the windshield, that's them shooting at AEW. You feel me? Like they gonna do it. Like they gonna do it.
I agree with that. I thought that was a clear shoot. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I can't disagree with.
Or like when Punk, I work with children. He said that maybe like 2-3 weeks ago or something. Like he's like, I work with children. That's a callback to something he said in AEW after he fought the nigga. You feel me?
So they gonna keep doing it. Didn't even catch that in the stadium. That's what I'm saying. I think that there should be two different statements. I think that one of the things that is just unfair to say is that AEW definitively made WWE better, because AEW, it's not like they ever had a story like the Bloodline. That's what I'm saying. We're leaving out main points. Y'all gonna
but see, Trav, this way the only thing I feel like when it comes to this argument that you're sticking on is just that story, which I agree with you. That's clearly the best story.
Because that story, right? I'm saying there's a reason why. Because y'all only mention that story.
No, but listen. This is what I'm saying. But this is what I'm saying. Just listen. What all these brothers is saying is 5 or 6 years ago? I can't remember at this point. When AEW started, it's 5, right? All right, so boom, 2020. This is literally around the same time as the Bloodline story. It's actually,
this is why that's why I mentioned it. This is why.
But listen, but you have to listen though, brother. Like you have to listen. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, that's the reason why you said I'm focused on. No, you're telling me I have to
listen. Get my bars off.
You said I focused on one thing, and then you just confirmed
you keep
why.
Referencing the Bloodline storyline, and that's why I'm trying to get to. It started around the same time that AEW popped up, so it's not a wild coincidence that storyline took off the way it took off. Was it going to be great? Period. I'm sure, but that storyline came about because, and I'm not saying they was threatened by the other company, but like these brothers keep saying, it's competition there. Like we see y'all. Like it's not like we don't see y'all. It's not like they was looking over like, how they just bought the AAA promotion. They've been looking over all these niggas for years. They didn't like, we ain't got to worry about them. If it was that, then cool. But they saw something like y'all said, Cody. They had Jericho. All these niggas. They got Kenny Omega. You know how long niggas wanted Kenny Omega in WWE. So when they see him go over there, same thing with Will Ospreay. This was just last year, matter of fact. They was talking about when Will Ospreay and Mercedes Moné, where were they going to sign? Blah blah blah. And it was a talk, like it was a bidding war between both companies for him. And then as soon as they both signed over there, we got people taking shots at Will Ospreay from this company. It's a back and forth thing. Like I'm not saying both companies don't do it, but we can't deny the fact that competition made niggas better. It's just what it is. Like,
here's what I will say. Here's what I would say to you. It's different because one company may fall without some of these stars, and one company won't fall. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
But yeah, nobody's disagreeing with that though. Nobody disagrees with that.
This is why you can't say that. This is why the argument is different depending on the brand. That's why I kept saying WWE made AEW better. AEW didn't make WWE better. There's a reason why. So let me respond to what you just. Everything that you just said was right. This is what I'm trying to point out to y'all. There was never a story like the Bloodline in AEW, right or wrong?
Right.
So then how can we say that because of AEW, the Bloodline story came about?
Because, and this is what I'm going to continue to say. This is my answer. This is my answer.
Go ahead.
Because storytelling did not matter to them niggas until AEW came around for the last.
Bro, you're acting like WWE never told stories.
I got
Listen, but this is what I'm saying. You got to let me finish my statement before you respond. For 10 years before AEW showed up, you can't tell me one storyline that you was invested in.
It was ass. It was ass as hell.
Not about so much of the fact that we all stopped watching. Is that a fact or not?
It was ass.
This is what I'm trying to show y'all. Y'all keep saying what you're saying is so much of opinion, and what I'm saying has to be kind of a fact. At least
it's a fact.
I'm gonna tell you. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. Y'all. That's why I'm asking y'all the questions the way I am, because there's a definitive, and then there's a. This is what I think. There's a definitive.
So you answer this question. Before the Bloodline story, what was the most powerful story they told in that 10 years?
I don't know.
But that's our point, Trav. That's our point, bro.
But that's like me saying to you, well, before AEW, well, what company did this or what company did that to spotlight wrestlers? That's like that doesn't make no sense. Like
that question didn't make any sense compared to this. That's what I'm saying. That didn't even make sense just now. That didn't make sense.
This is you cannot say that one bro. I don't. This is very simple to like get, bro. Like,
did Kobe make LeBron better and vice versa?
I don't know. Did they?
Did they? I'm saying, like, when you watch them head to head, did they make each other better? Like, did one nigga be like, I want to be better than him? Maybe, you know what? I'm going to use Kobe and LeBron because I feel like that's controversial in here.
The problem I have here is that we don't have this in writing. I think old brother needs all this in paper and legal writing. Because
it doesn't have to be legal writing. It just has to do it when we talking about stuff. Y'all got to point out what we saw and what is non-existent. What we can point out for
put two and two together sometimes. Like we see it, all.
It's not, bro. There is no, bro. You tell me. All right, so I saw me and you then put two and two together, right? What 2 and 2 did you see from AEW that helped WWE come up with the Bloodline story? Which one? What thing did you see?
I will say Roman's return. Now you're right. This is just me speculating, but Roman was sidelined for a long time because he had the issues with the leukemia and he didn't want to catch COVID, right? He didn't want to be he didn't want to be in public yet. Was AEW already programmed by the time Roman faced Bray Wyatt? Was that already on TV?
Did AEW ever?
I'll have to go back and check.
Yeah. Did they ever have a character like The Fiend?
No.
Okay, so then how do we even? So before you even get to Roman and Bray and the developmental, if one company didn't even have a character ever like that, then how can we say that they got a story? The next proceeding story they got from AEW.
I'm saying they wouldn't even feel the need to pull Roman out.
How do you know that?
I don't know that.
If Vince said 10 years ago that this was going to be the guy, how can you say that?
Hey, Nico, that question asked.
No, wait.
I'm talking to Nico. I'm not talking to you, bro.
But you just started talking to Nico in the middle of me talking to Dev. Like, come on.
Go ahead. My bad.
Let him answer that question.
Which question?
This is what I mean, Cash. You just fucked it up, bro.
I fucked it up
I almost
somehow.
forgot what I
This
said.
argument's been off almost 2
like the way
hours,
I
but I
worded it was
fucked it up
perfect.
somehow.
The way I worded it was perfect. I think that if you're talking about putting 2 and 2 together and I've got to be in writing, I'm not being as practical as you think. This is what it is. Like, you can't say AEW made them come up with the bloodline story because that's not true. The bloodline story, it's not like the story came from AEW and they said, oh, you know what? We're gonna write something like that. Then I would 1,000,000%
right.
But this is what I'm trying to say. I would 1,000,000% agree with y'all if that was the case. This is why I'm saying that it's unfair to say, oh yeah, well, they came up with the bloodline story because of competition in AEW. No, that's not true. They came up with the bloodline story because that's what happened to be. It was like a thorn. What they call that? Like, I forgot that phrase. A needle in a haystack. That's what it was. It just happened to be successful. Just like that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. When y'all were saying what story before that was good in the last 10 years, that doesn't matter. That I get what y'all are saying.
That does matter, bro.
Well,
like you cannot
can I tell you why?
exclude that, though.
Can I tell you why? Because there was a whole nother second part to that. It doesn't matter. I get what you're saying, Nico. That's true. I'm not gonna say it's true or not. Maybe you feel like
it is true. We
all right,
can't
so there
deny
wasn't a story like the Bloodline. All right, cool. If there wasn't a story like that in WWE, how did they get that from AEW? If
But see, and
AEW
that's
got
why
all
I
their
keep
stuff from them.
interjecting. That's why I keep interjecting, because you're saying something nobody up here said. Nobody said they got the bloodline story from AEW. They just said competition made WWE better.
This is what they said. This is what they said word for word. And you could go back. There would not have been a bloodline story without AEW. That's exactly what
no one said that.
No one said that? Go back in the recording. I promise you. I promise you.
I literally only heard niggas say competition made WWE step their shit up. That's all
That's not even what they said. They were saying that AEW made WWE better. You just said something
creatively. That's all they are speaking on. Creatively.
And exactly. And then they said, Nico, come on, bro. You could go back in the recording. I promise you. We could bet. I promise you, bro. They literally were, y'all were, and you kind of started giving that insinuation too. Oh, yeah, the bloodline story, they wouldn't have got that, they wouldn't have wrote that, or whatever the case may be, if there wasn't an AEW. That's not true. Now y'all are saying
that. I said creatively, they picked their shit up once they had some competition. That's not crazy to say. That happens in every life, like walk of life. That happens in any industry that has competition.
So nobody here said anything about the bloodline story at AEW.
I wasn't here before. That's why I don't know.
Was you.
That's why I keep saying this. The only person I hear saying that is you, Trav. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh wait, hold on. I still got Soda muted. Hey yo, my bad, Soda.
I was gonna ask that. I was like, Soda, like, cause I seen it in the chat. That he's ordering food.
I think he, bro. This is what I be talking about. Yo, y'all be forgetting what y'all be saying, and then when I be arguing it, then later on y'all change it, and then y'all act like y'all didn't say it. I bet you, Nico, please go back in the clip. I bet you that y'all was saying that. I bet you.
Nah, bro. I promise.
Nobody in here said that AEW helped the bloodline story. They basically made the bloodline story.
Hell no, ain't nobody said
y'all are lying, bro. Like y'all didn't. Now y'all didn't say that.
Shit. I don't know what that is.
I didn't hear that, Trav. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't hear that.
All right,
that's all I'm saying, Trav. Nobody up here said that in this time. I promise nobody said
you
that.
literally made an argument that wasn't an argument.
I will bet all of y'all that one of y'all said that. How much?
I promise I didn't say that.
I didn't bring up the bloodline for no reason.
I ain't say that shit.
All right,
I thought the bloodline came up because you talk about Roman and what's it.
Hold on, J Bass, you just said something 5 minutes ago, and then Nico interjected. He said, "Oh, I didn't mean to say that." You probably the one that said it. I'm blaming you.
I ain't say that shit though. I'm telling you, I ain't say that shit though.
Man, bro. All right, man.
That crazy shit, bro.
Now y'all try, Nico. I promise you. Yo, send me this recording right now. Send me the recording right.
I can't send it to you now. You gotta wait till we don't record you, Burger.
You gotta wait till we finish it.
I do remember. I think most of our driving points against you was that Cody is a generational babyface. Cody is the reason we have this competition. It all stemmed from like Cody.
Yeah, that's why I remember that for sure. I know that's where it all started. Cody.
I do want to rest my case. Cody's a generational babyface. He's up there.
About to ask me? Cash, what you were just about to ask me? My bad.
No, when you were asked about what was like most impactful, like pre-Bloodline, I was going to say the Authority.
My bad.
And
I got
even that wasn't powerful.
Nico, I don't even want to talk. Send me this recording right now. I'll find it for y'all. Cause y'all want to act like crazy.
I can't send it to you now. I gotta wait till we stop recording you. But
this is gonna be crazy. Just remember, y'all said this. Remember that nobody said that AEW being around helped the basically the Bloodline creative be better or whatever the case. However, y'all said it. Nobody said that except for me.
Do you think
say exactly how you just said it?
Just remember, y'all said that. That's all I'm saying.
That's
So the next time we talk, and I'm like, nah, I was right, and I'm doing all that. I don't want y'all to be like, okay, all right, you got it. I don't want to hear none of that Mickey Mouse shit. I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna tell y'all.
So when you're wrong, what happens?
He got it now. Go ahead and say you got it.
Yes, I'm not gonna be wrong about this. I promise you.
No, hypothetically speaking, when you're wrong, what happens?
Huh?
Your most viewed YouTube clip, I bet.
Hypothetically speaking, if you listen,
if I was wrong, I would say
he got
I
it
don't have no
now.
problem saying that I'm wrong. I'm cool
that's
with
all
being wrong.
That's all I wanted you to say, bro.
But this situation, I ain't wrong. I ain't gonna hold you. Y'all said that. That's why I'm like, bro, are y'all kidding me right now? That's why
I feel like first of all, I feel like this argument went on way longer than it was supposed to. This is an easy fix. Watch this, Trav. How long?
This is what happened. Nah. This is what happened. First of all, this is what happens when y'all try to jump me.
Oh God, that shit definitely.
Cash started off asking me a question about The Rock. I started answering that question. J-Bed jumped in, started saying, and then Dev jumped in. He kicked me in my back. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on?
Hold on. Let me just ask real quick. Just for my own personal enjoyment, just out of this. Let me just ask, Trav, how often you watch? In the last 5 years, how often have you seen AEW?
I saw it a lot that's what I'm trying to say. I remember I told y'all I watched a lot when they first came around.
Me too. Yeah.
It was a little bit after. Well, it was a little bit after the Cody Rhodes.
Exactly.
Right when Cody
That's
Rhodes
what I was about to say, because that first pay-per-view they had, you got to remember that first Double or Nothing. Oh, perfect. Boom. I actually remember now why it's even better competition. John Moxley left WWE the night before and popped up in AEW the next night on their debut.
I get it.
That's when it started, though.
Nico, that's what I'm saying to you. You can listen to what I'm saying. You could go hear this on the recording. I've been said before, if y'all want to say competition, then that's one thing, because of course they're a competitor, but you can't say for sure that AEW made WWE better because you don't know what storylines are going to be created. You don't know how the fans are going to react. That's the only thing. You don't know how they're going to react, so you can't say, "Oh, this company made that company better. They came up with the Bloodline. They came up with this right when AEW came around. They just happened to have that happen at that time. That story made itself.
Let's go to this bar.
You don't think just in general that
I have to mute it from now.
No, I was at work. I was at work anyway.
Right. Yeah, my fault, bro. Go ahead, though. My fault.
But you don't think in general just competition, even if it's not competition, because obviously nobody will ever take WWE over, but just a company in general that's lit enough to get top stars. You don't think that lights a fire under WWE? Like you don't think at all? They just don't look at it. They see it. They see it because they send shots at each other. They see this shit. You know what I mean? They're not just born AEW.
Here's one thing I can say. Now, y'all not gonna like this analogy either. It's cool, but just try to understand what I'm saying here. This off the top of my head. If I'm running a race, if I'm racing everybody in here, I don't know how fast y'all are, right? But winning is what I want to do. Y'all with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay. What lights a fire under me is the fact that there's a dub at the end. I don't know how fast y'all are. Maybe if I knew how fast Lucci was, I might try I need to run faster. Maybe if I knew Cash, I need to run faster. But if I'm just competing against y'all and I know that I need to win, that's what lights the fire under me.
I think you're giving WWE too much credit and too much goodwill.
I'm gonna tell you why. This is why I'm doing that. This is why I'm doing that. Because within 6 years, the company y'all just said is making one company better went from amazing to horrible in 6 years. Now, in the other company,
look,
go ahead.
But look, you know what? You know another thing that eats away at Triple H. There was a point where AEW was kicking NXT ass. They were on the same day.
and AEW was kicking NXT's ass. You think Triple H don't think about that shit every day? Like, damn,
That doesn't
AEW is
mean that it
kicking our
makes
ass.
them better. They would just.
That's,
That
that's,
doesn't
that's
mean
just
that
one other
it
point
makes.
of. That's just one other point of AEW being in the way. Like, of course, nobody will ever overtake WWE, but you can't say that there isn't some type of motivation. There's top stars over there: Sasha Banks, Will Ospreay, Kenny, like all these stars, top stars. Anyone can go over there
And I
right
do
now. Becky can go over there right now and lit. Anyone can go over
for the
there.
Okay,
record.
There's
and
no.
if Becky
Oh,
goes over there right now, what happens to WWE stock? They stay
no.
where they are,
It
bro.
doesn't do.
That's how big of a.
Yeah, but they
Trav, you
don't
always do this.
matter who. They don't matter who.
That's what I'm about to say. Like you focus
It
on
don't
the
matter
like
who
where
go there.
What I'm saying
WWE
is
is.
very,
That
is
Don't
very
matter who
besides
limited.
the
go there. It's
point.
going exactly. It's the same shit. I
That's
promise you.
besides the
I get
point,
what y'all are.
Trav. We
What
know
I'm saying.
WWE will never ever die, but that's
Exactly. It
that
won't ever die.
That's
that's
why
that
you
side
can't.
of the game
Okay,
where
and that's wait. Stick with me. Stick with me. Matter of fact, here we go. Here goes another example. Let's just think, bro. Let's just think like human beings, right? Cool. If we all in here and Adam served before, and so did you, Cash. I don't know who else served. So y'all tell me, like, just be real, be real. If you had the opportunity, and well, not I don't even want to say opportunity. If you had eternal life, Lucy Mitchell, hold on, I'm gonna mute him real quick. If you had eternal life, and you know you're never gonna die, what in life makes you better? You're eventually gonna become like, all right, well, I know I'm not gonna die, right? That's like WWE. If we know one company is never going to die, and the other company can very well die at any time, based on how they do, then how can we say that one company made the other company? How can we say that the company that could die at any time is making the other company better? The company
If
that's
I'm the
never gonna die, is not caring that much the way y'all are thinking about AEW in terms of, oh shoot, we need to write the bloodline story now because they wrote this. Yes, they're
I beg to
competition.
differ.
yeah, not to that extent.
But that's
I
what I'm
beg to
saying.
differ. Like
If one is the
just
clear
because
bigger, it's like Amazon. It's like Amazon. You think Amazon care about UPS? No, they don't. And UPS is a huge company. Amazon don't care about them because Amazon is already billions and billions and billions and billions and hundreds of billions of dollars into the industry. They might never die. You think Jeff Bezos is worried about?
Does Amazon send hateful subliminal message across the
so
Right.
here's where there's a
That's
whole
where
bad
that's where
analogy.
you know they
But
care.
that's a bad example because AEW
Right.
was doing that first. So
But
that
that's how you know they
WWE
Right.
just
care
does.
though.
And wait, and here goes. And matter of fact, to Dev's point, you're talking about companies sending shots across the globe. Guess what happens when one company shoots at the other? One of them gets hurt. When AEW shoots at WWE, it don't sting, it don't hurt. Did you ever peep that?
They still reply back though. If that's the case, they wouldn't
That they can
shoot back.
reply back because they know they could kill them at any time. They know
No,
that.
they reply back
So
because
to
they're
your analogy,
bothered. It's not that I could kill you at any
They
time.
not replying,
This
Nico.
bothered me.
These dudes are, bro. You're not even
Yes,
talking
bro.
about. You're not even talking about
Bro.
the owners replying back. You're talking about the wrestlers. The wrestlers are having fun replying
Bro.
back.
So
Triple
No,
H
doesn't
we
that
talking
make the
about
product?
Paul
Wait, hold on a
Levesque.
I
second.
think all that's off.
Didn't MJF just tweet
bro.
about this? Nico, why are you
Nah,
doing
bro.
this?
Triple H set
MJF
the
just
first
tweeted we should be able to shoot. We should be able to shoot
look,
shots back at each other, and it
I'm
doesn't mean
not
anything.
talking
He
look.
even
about the
said it.
wrestlers.
Triple H
I'm
set the
speaking
first
about
shot.
Paul Levesque. Go ahead.
So everything you just mentioned, this isn't making WWE better. Everything that you just
By shooting shots at AEW?
In
No,
general, bro, in
no.
general, it just makes the
Some
business
people.
more it just makes the business more fun when you just have another
That's
company
what
that's
you're proving what I've been saying from the very beginning. I said, and this is you
We've
can catch
been
this on
saying
recording
that.
too. This is what you can catch this on recording. I said in the beginning, I understand y'all talking about competition, and one thing, and the other thing that I said was, let me know if y'all don't remember me saying this too. I said, from the fans' point of view, the optics of the fan, yes, it's making the experience better for us because there's competitors. But for them, the actual company, they're not looking at AEW like, oh, they're making us better. I'm telling you that. That's not how a business is gonna think that's that successful in comparison to another one.
But Trav, that's why I keep saying you saying stuff that nobody else is saying. They are only
Bro, what do
talking
you
about
mean?
creatively.
Bro, you
We are
stepped away
pointing
from
out
your
everything
computer.
else.
Nico, you stepped away from your
Yeah,
computer.
but I've been here for this part of the argument in the last 30, 45
Did you hear me
minutes.
say
Y'all
that
been
last
arguing for
part
like an
though?
hour since I've been sitting
Okay,
here.
but did you hear me say that last part though?
We heard what you said. You just repeating yourself at this point. We saying we not talking about from a business standpoint. That's not what we're referring to. They're just talking about
I've been
creatively
talking
better.
about that from the very beginning. That's why I'm
So
asking.
y'all having two different arguments, and y'all been arguing for an hour. Move on
not-
to WrestleMania Night 2, the main event. Let's get to that.
It's not two different arguments. My
I
argument
think
been the
he's right.
same.
It's time to switch the subject.
My argument been the
I'm done.
same. I
didn't say you had two different arguments. I said y'all are having two different arguments. They're arguing creatively. You're arguing from a business standpoint. At this point, y'all just arguing to argue. So let's review Monday. I mean, not Monday, whatever. Go to night 2 and the main event.
What the
I don't got
argument
nothing else to
was
say.
about,
I don't got nothing else to say. I'm good.
Then talked about 4 different things.
Yo, Lucci, talk to me, man. Fuck all that. Lucci, talk to me. Lucci, hit my motherfucking music, man.
Why y'all rated Trav like that, man? Y'all always do this, bro.
Nah, I literally just came in to say like niggas is having the same argument. Like they are having an argument for an hour and they're arguing two different things.
It's been
I
2
don't
hours,
understand.
man. It's like 2.5 hours now, bro.
My boy Trav steady going like, yo, y'all not hearing me. We hear you. You repeating yourself. Like you're having you not hearing nobody what anybody else up here is saying. So there's no point to keep doing this. Like I don't understand.
I think he was low key moving goalposts, but
he does it every week. Trust me, this is not news. He does it every week.
I swear that's all he do, bro. And my nigga gonna move that goalpost. And my nigga gonna move that goalpost.
That's why I just sat quiet for like 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, let me just see if they go somewhere different with this. But my brother is literally just saying the same thing over and over. Come on, man, let's do this. No, Lucci, night 2, man.
Man,
shit about the main event.
Oh man, nah, man. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. Let me get this off real quick. First of all, every time I get into an argument with all 4 of y'all, 5 of y'all always try to make it seem like I'm dragging it. It's 3, I'm arguing with 4 different people.
I just said y'all been arguing for 2 hours. Let's move on.
I ain't just know them, bro. They be trying
y'all been doing
3 and 4 of them. Man. And then when I respond to each of them, now it be he doing too much, he doing too much, Trav, he doing too much. It was Soda. Not Soda. It was J-Bands, it was Kaz, it was Dev. Then Quiz jumped in a little bit. Lucci jumped in, punched me in my head.
We don't really care what Quiz.
What did I do?
I ain't say nothing for like an hour.
I'm trying to hear what Lucci said.
Oh, let me unmute.
Lucci said, "What did he say
Lucci
for?" I ain't even do nothing.
And Lucci, my bad. I muted real quick.
You ain't even
agree with what we
saying, man. Yo, Trav, when you mute Lucci, server mute him. Don't just mute him on your side. We don't want to hear him talk either.
Oh wait, I ain't.
I did that.
I ain't even know you could. There was a difference.
Nah, yeah, because if you just press mute, it just put him on mute. He can unmute.
You fucking mark!